Many people around the country remember the women's marches that followed the inauguration of President Trump. One additional response to the new political age is an event being organized this Sunday by the Union of Minority Neighborhoods. To tell us about the Women's Tea are two guests from the group, the project administrator Lum-Bih Tashi and a board member, Daïna, Estime. Thank you both very much for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
I want to start with Daïna because
Sure.
this comes under two things that the Union of Minority Neighborhoods has been involved in: protecting the children, but also what we do in the age of Trump. So what's different here that you're concerned about?
Honestly, there's a lot of fear in so many different communities right now. And we want Black women to know that they have a lot of power in this. Just because you're not a citizen and you can't vote doesn't mean that your voice isn't heard. And so we want to start having those conversations to see short term and long term, what are the things that we can start doing right now to make sure that whatever happens it's kind of scary to think, but even 2 or 3 weeks from now, if they're challenging with the Affordable Health Care Act that they're trying to get rid of, what's going to happen with our insurance? What's going to happen if we get sick? If you talk about the immigration policies that have been going on, there are a lot of women and a lot of people who are nervous about what does that mean for my family? Is there going to be a day that they're going to tell me that I have to leave? I grew up in a family where my parents weren't from here. So I'm a first generation American, and I'm personally seeing, even though my parents are now citizens, people who have lived here for 20, 30, 50 years who are worried about what comes next, and letting them know that they do have power. They do have power.
Lum-Bih, what about what's going to be happening at this event itself to work on these concerns that women have?
I would say that it's an open forum for Black women to really come together and talk about the issues that plague our communities. We're going to be breaking into groups and discussing these particular issues, and then in those groups talking about the solutions and what we can pledge to do right there and then moving forward.
And I guess, not to say anything against the larger women's marches, but I guess when you start from the grassroots, it seems to be more open-ended. You have the people in the room saying, what are your concerns? Tell us, I guess.
Yes. For me, I think that some of the concerns as a Black woman are public education. I worry a lot about the children and their future, and with lots of federal and state budget cuts, I worry about where that's going to leave them, and when I decide to have a family, where that's going to leave my children. And then some of the issues that we face as far as discrimination and other types of microaggressions. I think all of those end up collectively explaining the African-American female experience.
And this is BNN News. We're talking with Lum-Bih Tashi and Daïna Estime from the Union of Minority Neighborhoods. Daïna, what about the climate that we're in right now under this new presidency? I mean, what have you seen that people have to contend with?
It's really been nerve-wracking to see, I have coworkers of mine who weren't born here but are citizens who are like, well, maybe I should walk around with my citizenship forms because if somebody stops me and they hear my accent, they won't know that I'm a citizen right away. And to think that it's gotten to that point where people are doubting you and thinking the worst of who you are without so much as knowing your name, just hearing the words coming out of your mouth, it's really scary. It's really scary. A lot of people aren't from Boston or aren't from the U.S., but their children are, and this is all we know. And so you have kids worrying about, what if something happens to mom or dad? What if it's just me left to take care of my younger brothers and sisters? What comes next?
Lum-Bih, what about how people can make a difference? I know both of you are concerned about what happens with health care, and I'm hearing that there could be thousands of people in the state who are not very well off are going to be losing access. So what can this community that you're from do about that?
I think in terms of immigration, as a second-generation child myself, I believe that Black Americans who are born here should be able to accompany people who aren't born here to immigration offices, just so that they don't have to experience that type of outward xenophobia that Daïna was explaining before. I think having that sort of buddy system really does relieve the pressure from the immigrant, and it makes them feel a little bit more comfortable, more supported. So I think that's how the Black American community can help the Black immigrant community, and how women can help other immigrant women.
I imagine, there are a lot of people who, when they do put on the TV, they're listening to some bad news and maybe thinking there's not much they can do about it. But talk about the different feeling when they're in the room and they're all talking about what they see on TV.
Yeah. So one of the things that I've been really passionate about, and with the people that I'm close with, like friends and family, is I've been advocating for like family who've been here for a long time. I made sure that they all became citizens before November 8th. And I also have made sure that everyone I know, everyone who's eligible, I've had them register to vote, even if it's gotten down to I have to mail the form for you. Because a lot of people just don't vote. A lot of people don't know if they're even registered to vote or not. And so I've really taken that upon myself to get people more active civically, and letting people know that just because you can't vote doesn't mean that, it stops right there. You still can call your legislators and you still can advocate for yourself. There's a huge community that I feel like gets forgotten because they might not be the ones voting every November, but they still matter and they still have opinions, and they know what they want and they know what they need. They just don't know how to get that message across.
Lum-Bih, we should let our viewers know about exactly when and where this tea is going to be taking place.
So the Women's Tea event is going to be taking place at the First Church of Roxbury. That's 10 Putnam Street in Roxbury, Massachusetts. And it's going to be from 2 to 4 p.m.
And you've got some more information online as well that people can check out?
Yes, that is on our website, theunionofminorityneighborhoods.org.
Thank you very much for being with us, Lum-Bih,
Thank you
Tashi.
for having us.
Thank you.
And Daïna Estime from the
Thank you.
Union of Minority Neighborhoods.